So goals for today, I want to get these cherry trees done right here. And then hopefully at least a couple of grapes pruned up, if not the big grape as well. We'll see if we can get that far on that one. Then it's the blueberries and the raspberries, and then we're all done for the season. So let's get to it. We want most of the middle of this tree to come out because we want this to be nice and open so it's easier to pick and it reduces disease pressure. Certain things, crossing branches, those are going to come out. So this is going to come off right here. So this one's going to come off too. So pretty simple. And this guy has to come off as well. So simple. Simple cuts. Similar principles involved with cherry tree cutting as apple tree in the sense that you don't want to take off a whole lot on it, but we're probably going to take a whole lot, including this cat, off of this tree. So you're going to see I've got this difficulty right here. So I've got this branch that's coming nice far out. This is great. This is opened up, but I have a much larger branch that's doing the exact same thing and only shading this out. So the question is, what do I want to do about that? I know I want to take this off right here. Alright, so I lost the video on that, on what I did here. So I ended up taking this up here off, and then I took the top of this branch off just to keep the height under control. So now what I'm looking at is opening up this center. We can compromise again by taking this off here. That'll open up the center even more. There we go. So we got that, and then that opens up the center a little bit more without taking too much away. This scraggly little guy here, that can go away. But I like these because these are nice and low. There we go. Nice. So that allows this piece right here to grow out. There we go. There we go. And off you come. Beauty. All right, so we've got that, and all of those branches are coming around, are moving outward. So of these two, this is actually the sturdier of them, but the trouble is that this one's in the middle of the tree versus this one, which is farther out. So it all depends on if I'm gonna be, how greedy I'm gonna be with this. To best do this, I would want to take this branch right here, the whole thing out. Because that would really open up the middle of that tree. So it's just a matter of, do I take that out, and because that's pretty drastic right now. So we'll chill and see how it responds. I think. On to the next one. This one isn't liking life all that well in this spot right now, so we'll have to try and figure out how to make it happier. But there's a few cuts that are pretty obvious. There's these guys way down low that need to come off. They're just growing straight up through the canopy, and that's no good. Get those away. And this one down here. Yeah, this one way down at the bottom. Down there. We don't want that in there either. It's easy cuts. This one's easy because this one's just a crossing branch. Super easy. This one again is crossing a little bit more. No, I've changed my mind. That one's not doing what I don't want it to do. this one here. This is a crossing branch here, so we'll take it off. Go. This is a job for the loppers. And we're going to take that out. That's easy. This is super hard because this one is growing straight up through the middle of the tree. I think I might compromise again here and just take this part off and leave the other one going here. That's easy. All right, so this is a crossing branch. This is easy to take out. Not much decision making there, but I should have more fruit in the future, and it'll be easier to pick with this branch going out that way. I think I'm going to leave the rest of that. That's not too bad. Yeah. So grapes are actually a lot easier. There's various ways to prune grapes. You've got the oh shoot, I forgot the name. I'm pretty sure one is the cane system and the other is the spur system. And I'm going with a cane system, if that's the right term. I could be wrong. I've got a 2-tier trellis on these right now. I'm going to have one cane going that way, one going this way on each tier. So it's just a matter of choosing the best cane to use for each direction on each tier. Once I've made that decision, everything else gets cut off. So it's either this one or it's this one. They're both about the same. So I think I'm going to keep this one. This is the one I'm going to keep. And that means that this whole part right here is going to get cut off right now. There it goes. And okay, so this is our winner right here. All right, so let's go ahead and secure this. And then we can count, I don't know, sometimes you technically want to count about, I don't know, 5 or 6 nodes in. I go a little bit farther just because I've only got the one plant. So now once I've made my decision, so this is my new cane right here, everything else is coming off. So this has to come off. But I want to hopefully create a new cane for next year. So I want to leave a bud. So there's a bud there, and that can possibly become my cane for next year. So we're going to cut that off and leave that there. And now we can worry about the other direction. So I have to make some tough choices here. I left this big huge branch here, probably being a little bit greedy with that, but I could probably use it to my advantage. So what I could do is probably just keep this one right here. That can be my branch for the rest of the way, and I just have to cut this part off there. These might actually do that job. Yes, they will. Boom. So there, this is my new cane going that way, and now we just have to cut everything else off. So let's get the rest of this disconnected. So I'm discovering that I probably made a bit of a mistake, but fortunately I've got an extra. So this guy right here is going to have to be my lower tier, because any possibility of a lower tier I cut off with this, at least coming out of that branch. So this one ideally probably could have been my lower tier, but fortunately I've still got this one down at the bottom that has not been disconnected. So this is the branch that I want to get rid of. So we're going to go ahead and cut this off. It's going to be a challenge on this one, but it's going to come out. There it comes. There it goes. Boom. All right, let's go ahead and time lapse you guys.
Wait, Kay, no. I know what I'm doing. Kay, no!
Okay, so I took two big branches off. This one was going way up here, and I had basically let it go all the way across, so there was just a big thick branch. That was just not the way to do that. And then I took another one off over here, so, and that one was traveling up here and basically doing the same thing. Did not want that. And because it was just not going to give you, eventually it's just going to stop giving me fruit, and in fact it gave me very little fruit last year, and so it just doesn't work. This year I'm a little bit more hopeful, so I took this one here, and I took one each, this one over here, because this one's kind of shaded out, so this one almost never produces all that much, though it can produce something. I kind of made a mistake. I should have taken at least two canes and gone this way, but I ended up with one. So I kind of modified what I was doing with here. So this is my neighbor's branch that I've got going over the fence, and so what I did was I left, so this is the end of that branch. It kind of curls down and comes back up, and so this is the end of that branch, And so what I did was I left 2 canes going this way, so one on her side, one on our side, and then another one coming off this way. So that'll kind of make up my second branch that I wanted, or my second cane, I should say, that I wanted over here. That'll be just fine. And then obviously it's not going to fruit quite as much this year, but I'm going to put at least 2 more grapes that I'm going to prune very traditionally, not in this funky manner, but 2 traditional pruning bushes, and go from there. All right, grapes are done, and it's already started to snow, but I still got blueberries and raspberries to do. So let's take a look at the blueberries. So it took me a long time to work up the courage to start pruning blueberries, because I really didn't have any clue how to do it. But it's not, for anyone who doesn't know how to do it, it's actually not as hard as it might seem. The key principle is we want canes that are moving, let me start again. The key principle is we want young canes. Okay, so we've got these canes that are nice and green, that don't have any bark on them.
Bark. Hey, no. Bark. Bark. Bark.
Like these do. And we want these canes right here. And we want to, obviously, just like anything else, we want to clear out the centers. Quick, probably an easy prune would be right here. Yeah, I'm gonna just cut this whole thing right off, just like that. So, so now I've got this, and then the next principle is we want the canes to be going up. And so this one is trying to curve toward the ground, so we're gonna go ahead and pop that one off of there. Okay, and then we want nice firm canes like this, and this. So this is small and spindly, so we're just gonna get rid of that one. This one, I think I'm actually just gonna cut maybe half of it off, because it's moving toward the ground. So is this one. I'm actually gonna cut all of that off because it's in the middle, and I think I'll leave the rest. That'll be just fine. All right, so another fairly easy one right here. We've got this guy here that's old, and we've got another cane right here that's kind of taken its place, so we can easily take that one out. I've got these canes that are moving straight up, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and take that off like that. And then this is some old woody growth right here that we want to take off. And I think we'll take this one off. This is a crossing branch, so we'll just take that off. Yeah, that looks good. Until you get to this guy. There's always an exception. But this one is still giving me some pretty simple cuts. So here's old woody growth right here, though it's got this guy here, so I think I'm going to start by just taking off this one and see where it goes. This is a big crossing branch, so we can take that out. Here's another crossing branch. Take that off. That's easy. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, so this is actually looking a bit easier than it may seem. Here's an old woody stick that we can pull off. Oh, almost lost my mic. Here's an old woody one. That's just okay. That's all tangled up with stuff. And oh, here's a little spindly one. That's easy. Here's an old growth right there. Here's one that's bending toward the ground. We want to get rid of that. And then I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Oh no, I need to take that back. I'm gonna get it right here. Pruners are not starting to get old. And this is a pretty easy cut right here. Take that. This one's going to bend toward the ground, so we'll just take that one off. This one's also bending toward the ground. We're going to take that off. This one wants to bend toward the ground, so I'm actually just going to top it. And this one I think I'll compromise. I'm going to take that off just like that. This is small and spindly, so we'll open up the center a little bit with that. Cutting that off completely. And then this one is old, so let me come back with the loppers on that one. There we go. Yeah. All right. This one's kind of dead. I think I'm just going to cut that one off just to open up the middle. There we go. All right. Yeah, not too complicated. And there's a couple of dead ones here. Cut out. And, oh, spindly ones. A couple of spindly guys. We can cut off. So there you go, blueberry pruning, pretty easy. So the raspberries are looking really bad this year. I'm not really sure what I've done to discourage their growth, but I'll kind of go over what the basic principle of pruning a raspberry is. It's probably the easiest one out of all of these to do. It's just basic. It's just you prune away the dead canes and you kind of top the canes that are still alive and just tie them to a trellis. It's really easy. And we've been doing that faithfully, but I'm not sure if it's just the ground, if we've just not been fertilizing them enough or what. But most of this, let me back up here. So all of this here, and there's a lot of dead canes back in there. If you can see any of the brown, not the red canes, but these brown canes here, those are dead, and there's not a lot of red alive canes to replace them. So this is really, we're probably just gonna have to replace them with go to the nursery and buy new ones. One of the mistakes that I made is that I made two rows. I'll go over here and I'll show you. So you can see I made 2 rows, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the trouble is that this is actually east and west. So what happens is that this row back here gets shaded out because the sun goes across the sky over here to the south, just a little bit to the south, and it's enough that this row here on the north stays in shade pretty much most of the day, and so these just end up getting really spindly and produce very little fruit. So this row here is always fairly vigorous, but last year it wasn't. If we replace these, then obviously I'm going to make rows that are facing north to south. That way they get sun on both sides and a much more even fashion. So might succeed a little bit better. But for now, I guess I just need to clear out all this all the dead growth and see what I can do with what's left. I'm kind of out of time for the day, so we'll have to go in at some other point and figure out what's going on. But I've got more important priorities. Now that the pruning is all done, it's time to order seed and other plants, because I want to add some grapes to the mix. So that this whole thing is just going to have to come later, if not like even next year. We'll see what I can get to in that between now and spring, when it really starts to, when those berries really start to take off. And who knows, maybe we'll end up going to the nursery to buy a few more and re-trellis them. I already have some ideas as to how to re-trellis these and get them, maybe give them a better shot, but it's just not looking, they're just not looking good. I may just need to start completely over from scratch. So there is our large grape. As you can see, it is drastically different, and that's okay. Like I said, grapes are basically weeds, and so it's gonna wake up in the spring, and unlike your apple tree, which completely freaks out if you do too much to it, a grape is going to wake up, yawn, stretch itself, and start growing. Pruning is done. We are done, and then we just have to clean this up. But cleaning up this stuff is not as strict a timetable as the actual pruning is. So not a big deal. We'll get it cleaned up. Well, my battery wants to keep on dying, so I'll do this, the outro from the inside. And thank you everyone for watching, and I do hope that you'll consider subscribing to this channel, commenting, giving tips, interacting with each other, interacting with me. Say goodnight, sunshine. Thanks again, everybody.